Hi everyone, this is Anson from AnsonAlex.com, and today I'm going to be presenting an introduction to using Twitter. This is part one of a multi-part video series that I'm going to be producing throughout the next week, in which I'm going to cover all aspects of using Twitter. In this video, we're just going to talk about the basic interface of Twitter, what Twitter is, how it works, what it's used for, and then in future videos we're going to get into some of the more advanced features of Twitter, such as using hashtags, @mentions. We're going to go over Twitter privacy. I'm going to talk about rich media in Twitter and just basically customizing your account. So I hope this video series helps and enjoy it. Okay, so to get started, I've navigated to twitter.com and I'm now at the Twitter homepage. So if you don't already have a Twitter account, go ahead and create one in this new to Twitter form down here at the bottom. It's going to walk you through the process of setting up a Twitter username and a password and all that sort of thing. If you do already have a Twitter account, go ahead and log in. That's what I'm going to do. My Twitter account is AnsonAlex, and I'll enter my password. And then when I log in, it's going to take me to my personal Twitter page. You can see that I already have an established Twitter account. I've been using Twitter for a couple of years, so I've got a customized background here, which I'll show you how to do later on in this video series. I've got a little profile picture. I've tweeted over 4,000 times, so that's how many times I've actually written a status update in Twitter, which is called a tweet. I'm following 698 people. Those are the tweets that are appearing over here on the right. Those are the people that I find interesting and I want to see when they are updating their Twitter status or tweeting. And then I also have 782 people following me. Those are people that want to see the status updates that I am providing to Twitter. So as you start using Twitter more and more, you'll start discovering more people that you want to follow. A lot of organizations are on Twitter, a lot of celebrities. I don't really get into the whole celebrity thing. I use it mainly for technology and business and a few friends. I find that Twitter isn't quite as close-knit social as, say, Facebook is. Yes, you're going to have social interaction and you're going to follow your friends and your friends follow me, and there's a lot of people, I especially think younger people, and I'm talking a lot younger, like high school age, because I'm considered old compared to them, do use Twitter with their close-knit groups of friends. But for the most part, Twitter is used for people who want to follow big events that are going on, public events, or, like I said, celebrities, sports figures, popular business figures, that sort of thing. But you can really use it for whatever you want. Later on in this video series, we're going to talk about privacy in Twitter, but one thing that I would like to mention real quick is that there's really only two privacy options. You can either tweet to everybody in the world, make your tweets public, which is probably the most common thing that people do on Twitter, or you can protect your account, which means that in order for somebody to see your tweets, you have to approve them as a follower. And we'll talk about that later on in this video series. But just keep it in the back of your head that Twitter is kind of more of a public thing than, say, Facebook. Okay, so you can see, looking at this interface, I've got all of the people that I follow. Their tweets are just showing up over here on the right. And actually, since we've logged in the couple minutes that we've been looking at this interface, there have been 17 new tweets. And if I want to see those, I can just click on that link and the new tweets will appear. So these are just everybody that I follow. As they tweet, it's just showing up. So obviously, I could scan through this and I could just look at all the different tweets. But at the same time, let's say I wanted to look at all of the tweets from one particular person or organization. Let's say Ben Parr, obviously a very popular blogger, tech guru here on the internet. So if I go ahead and I click on Ben Parr's name, you'll notice that a little profile summary pops up. He's got his profile picture, a background picture, a summary of who he is, what he does, maybe where he's from. You'll notice that right here it says @BenParr. That is his Twitter username. So if you want to send him a direct tweet, which means he gets notified that you're tweeting him, you're going to send it to @BenParr. And we're going to talk about that in way more detail later on in this video series, so don't get too caught up on that right now. But you'll notice that down here I can see how many times he's tweeted, 25,000 times. Wow, that's a lot. I've had trouble getting to 4,000. He's following 1,800 people and he's got 53,000 followers. Obviously a very popular figure here on Twitter. And then down here, I can see his three latest tweets. But if I want to see more, I can go ahead and I can click Go to Full Profile. And now I will get a full screen view of Ben Parr, and I will see all of his tweets. So I can look down and I can see everything that he's tweeted. On the right of each tweet, it tells you how long ago it was tweeted. So 11 hours, 10 hours, 2 hours. When we get back up to the top, you'll see that he's tweeting, almost every few minutes. Now, is Ben Parr really doing it? I think he probably is, a lot of his tweets, because he's a tech guy. But when you get to the celebrities and organizations on Twitter, celebrities probably have somebody who handles most of their social media. A couple people I know, or one person in particular, Kobe Bryant, I know that he does his social media, which I think is kind of cool. But for the most part, they've got somebody doing it for them. And they might do it themselves once in a while, but they're not doing it every single time. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my home page. And to do that in Twitter, I just need to go up here to the top left and click on the Home button. And we're going to talk about a couple more things about this interface. We're not going to get too detailed, but you'll notice that underneath my little profile summary, I've got this little box that says Compose New Tweet. So this is how we can tweet to the world. And there are multiple things you can do when tweeting, like mentioning certain people or hashtagging events or locations, which we're going to talk about later on in this video series. But to get started, I just want to type a quick tweet with no advanced use of hashtags or @mentions or anything like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and click in the Compose New Tweet box, and I'm just going to type a Twitter message. Now you'll notice down here there's a number 140. That is the limit to the amount of characters I can type on Twitter. So you cannot send a message on Twitter that is more than 140 characters. And that's one of the things that people have discussed. Should Twitter allow you to type longer messages? And it's kind of been going back and forth, but a lot of people think that one of the things that makes Twitter unique is that they do limit you to 140, so you don't get these long drawn out paragraphs and novels like you do sometimes on Facebook. You've got to be quick with what you're saying, you've got to be efficient with what you're saying, and it's kind of like goes with how society is nowadays with technology. Everything's happening so fast and so quick that Twitter is a way to quickly get an idea out there, and it's not a place to really expand on stuff to the level that you can on Facebook and Google Plus and LinkedIn and services like that. So I'm just going to type a quick tweet. This is a sample tweet for a tutorial! Exclamation point. And I'm going to leave this tweet up when I tweet it, so if you want to go back at some point after you're watching this, you'll be able to see this tweet on my Twitter account. But I'm just going to go ahead, and you'll notice I could add a photo and a location, which we're going to talk about later in this video series. We're going to talk about rich media content in Twitter. But for now, I just want a simple tweet that says this is a sample tweet for a tutorial, and I'm going to hit tweet. Okay? Now you'll notice on the right, my tweet is now appearing in my feed of tweets. So everybody who follows me, if they're looking at their Twitter page, they can see this tweet, and they probably know that I'm actually producing a tutorial right now. So that's kind of cool. So that's how you can tweet real quick. You'll notice that there's a box down here underneath your profile that just gives you suggestions on who to follow. You'll notice that this first one says promoted. So basically they paid for their profile to be suggested to a whole bunch of users. A lot of times I just ignore the promoted who to follow things because I want to follow the people I want to follow. I don't want somebody paying me to follow them or paying Twitter for me to follow them. Doesn't make sense. But they got to make money somehow, right? So I will ignore those promoted ones. But you'll see Majestic SEO, David Harry. These are probably listed here because I follow a certain amount of people that also follow Majestic SEO. So they're saying, well, if Anson Alex is following X, Y, and Z person, and X, Y, and Z person are following Majestic SEO, then Anson might want to follow Majestic SEO. So, Twitter has a pretty advanced algorithm that they use to make those suggestions, but it's a good way to find new people and new organizations to follow here on Twitter. Down here on the left, below who to follow, we've got this Trends widget. And this is a box that shows you the popular topics that are trending on Twitter. You've probably heard that on the news and just around the internet. What's trending on Twitter? What's trending on Twitter? Well, here it is. You'll notice, again, there is one hashtag, Let's Go Places, that is promoted. So somebody's paying for that to appear. So again, it's up to you, but I usually ignore it. We've got some different things here. SMT Live, I don't know what that is, HMV, but those are probably events. SMT Live, I'm guessing, is a live event. Might actually be a social media event. Talk like your best friend. Things black parents say. So Twitter can sometimes get a little racy, but that's people are tweeting jokes. Okay, they're trying to be funny or ironic with their tweets, and people are probably going back and forth. MLK, getting ready for MLK Day here. So these are the things that are popular. When an election is going on, you will see a trending will be the election or an election, wherever it is. You'll notice that real quick at the top of this trends box, we have a link to change. That's change our trends setting. So if I click that real quick, you'll notice that right now it is tailoring trends for me. And what that means is it is using my location. So it's saying, okay, you're in this part of the world. These are the hashtags that are popular where you are, so we're going to show those in your trends. And it might also look at who I follow and say, oh wow, 30 of the people that Anson follow are tweeting this particular hashtag. We're going to show that in the trending box for Anson. So I can choose to keep tailored trends, or I can change my settings. So you can see I have the option of choosing what location I want to see the trending tweets for. So I could keep it in the United States, or I could look at a whole nother country. So I'm not going to change that right now, but that's up to you. So that's kind of a basic introduction to Twitter. Again, there are a lot of advanced features that I'm going to cover later on in this video series, but by now you should be able to log into Twitter, compose a tweet, and you can kind of start following people on Twitter. Now, if you don't have anybody over here on your list and you don't like the people who are in the who to follow box, you can go ahead and do some searching up here. And I'm not going to go into any detail on that. I'm going to let you discover that for yourself. Unless you want to keep watching this video series, I'll talk about it later on. But I think this should be a good introduction. Hopefully you can start using some Twitter, and stay tuned for my updates on using hashtags, @mentions, using rich media in Twitter, Twitter privacy. They're all coming up within the next week, and I think that it will really help you leverage Twitter to what you want to use it for. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate a thumbs up here on YouTube, and if you want to see more technology tutorials and tips, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's all I have for you for now. This is Anson from AnsonAlex.com.